morning, second period. So today is Thursday. You guys may have noticed I'm wearing the same thing. No, I have not worn the same thing every day. I've recorded these all in a day for you guys. So I am taking care of myself and I'm being clean. But I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are getting into the hang of this. Hopefully, you're understanding some of these concepts that we're doing of combined.
Log into your Zoom meeting. The link is in your email.
Sorry, Miss Mickey is talking to some other staff here. So, hope you guys are getting into the hang of it with multiplying like terms. Adding like terms, subtracting like terms, and then today we're going to be doing multiplying and dividing like terms. Same concept where you can only combine the x's with the x's and the y's with the y's, but it's just going to take it up a notch to multiplication and division. It says, if you feel confident with adding and subtracting terms and exponents, then you are ready to learn how to multiply and divide with them too. Take a look at the multiplication problem. This one that it gives us is y squared plus y to the fourth power. Now, as you know, we've done these before. We have y squared times y to the fourth power equals what? So, we have y squared and y to the fourth power. As we know, this y here, all this means is y times y, right? The twos are multiplying by themselves. With this one, with the y to the fourth power, all that means is y times y times y times y to the fourth power. So this would be y times y times y times y, just like that. You get the idea. What does this problem mean? The exponents tell us how many times to use y in a multiplication problem. We know that. And then, so what we're going to do is squish the problem together. When we put together y to the second power and y to the fourth power, we're going to get y to the sixth power. So we don't know what y is, so therefore we cannot solve the problem. We can simplify it though. So when we simplify y squared and y to the fourth power, we ended up with y to the sixth power. Y to the sixth power, right here. All that is y times y times y times y times y times y. So, 6 times. So then the answer would be y to the sixth power. That's it. All you're doing is simplifying. This should be very easy stuff for you guys. You guys did adding when you were in elementary school. So all you're doing is adding the exponents at the top with the like terms such as y. Let's try another one. The problem it's going to give us is, let me write it on my board for us, is x squared times x to the fifth power times x to the fourth power. So when we look at this problem first, we figure out which ones are like terms, and as you see, they're all x, so therefore those are like terms. Just like we did with the y2 and the y to the fourth power, we're simply adding the exponents together. So therefore we take our 2 plus our 5 plus our 4. So that's going to give us 11. So then we know that this answer simplified is x to the 11th power. X to the 11th power. And that should be pretty simple for you guys to understand. All you're doing is adding the exponents together if the terms are alike. So what do we do when the bases are not the same? What do we do when you have an x and a y together? We've talked about this before, and let me hear you. Can they be added together? Can you add an x and a y exponent together? Yes or no? What was that? I'm just kidding, I can't hear you. Alright. When the bases are not the same, as in a problem such as x squared times y squared, it's a little different but easy. You can't add up the exponents when the bases are different because x and y represent two different numbers. Instead, we just squish them together. When two letters are next to each other, it already means they are being multiplied. So just remove the dot and put the letters in alphabetical order. So x would come first, always. So if you have a problem that says x squared times y squared, and they want you to simplify, because we can't answer this problem because we do not know what x or y stand for. So therefore, all we're doing to simplify it is turning it to x squared and then y squared right next to each other. This, when the exponents are next to each other, means the same thing as this dot, which means a multiplication symbol. This is just a process of saving space, combining like terms, and keeping terms that are similar next to each other in a multiplication problem, such as this. We know that x squared, y squared, that is going to equal out, that's a multiplication problem, so we're just skipping the step of putting the multiplication problem sign in here because you guys need to know that x, y means x times y. Very simple. The reason we arrange the variables in alphabetical order is so we all end up with x squared, y squared. You could switch around y squared, x squared. It means the same thing, but algebra is confusing enough. Let's not complicate things by having different answers. Another thing you should realize is that when a number or letter does not have an exponent, it is considered to have an exponent of 1. So therefore, if you see something such as a times a squared, you should know that this is the same thing as having a 1. A 1 there. So, this a right here, always going to equal, if it does not have an exponent already, just remember in your head it has an imaginary exponent of 1. So, if you were to combine these terms, you're going to equal a to the third power. A to the third power, because we had our 2 here, we had our square, and we had our 1, so therefore we have our to the third power. Now, let's mix it up a little bit. I'll throw in some terms with different bases and see if you can simplify this problem. The example it gives us is y squared times y to the 4th power times x to the 2nd power y equals x to the 2nd power and y to the 7th power. Now, when we combine these terms, remember that the term y does not have an exponent after it, but it has an imaginary exponent of 1. So if you want to go ahead and mark that down on your paper as that y having a 1, you can. Feel free to do that. When you're doing these, so we have, when we combine these terms, we have a y2 and a y4, which you know that's going to be y6 time, and also we have a y without an exponent, so that's 1, so it's going to be y7 times x squared, because we do not have any other x's, just a 1x squared and then a y with the 1, so you add your y combined like terms, which would be 2 plus 4, 6, plus 1 would be 7, so y7 times x2. And like we talked about, you can do away with the multiplication dot, and it can just be y7 x2, or if you're doing it the proper way, where you go alphabetically first, it would be x squared y7. That's it. You're going to complete, you're going to use these skills to complete the worksheet that's on the next page, and that's 84 in your book, and 83 if you have a printed copy. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message on here, and I will help you as much as I can. I appreciate you guys doing your best, and I will see you tomorrow.